from a long time ago, I started getting nightmares. Kind of, they kind of progressed, and then after it happened, they got worse. And even like I already said this, but as a child, like we even had a neighborhood kind of group, and all the parents talked to all the kids about not walking alone and staying together and protecting yourself, as I said. But as adults, I don't think you guys realize just how prevalent it is, and it's partly us to blame because we don't talk about it with you guys. But I feel like as teenagers, it's hard for us to talk about, and it's hard to discuss with you if we feel like you guys won't listen. So my main point is to listen to your kids, to your family members, to your friends, because I've experienced it, and I know a lot of other people have, my friends. And the most common thing between all of us was it wasn't someone that we didn't know. It wasn't a stranger. It was a family friend, it was a relative, and it could have been prevented. But if it's not, I feel like you guys should just listen to us when we feel like we're ready to talk about it. And that's it.
Thank you, Barbie, for showing such vulnerability and sharing your story tonight. We appreciate that. Help me welcome Nick from Grand Haven.
Alright, yeah, I'm Nick. I'm from Grand Haven, and I'm going to be talking about something I learned at the beginning of the semester this year, and that's logical fallacies. And basically, there's 12 of them, and people mix and match these all the time, but you know, everybody has superstitions and logical fallacies that they follow and believe. Now, basically what a logical fallacy is it's a flawed, invalid, or false way of arguing, and a lot of that time that plays into not just arguing but reasoning and justifying certain behaviors and things. And yeah, so back 10 years ago, give or take, I was basically living in logical fallacies all the time. Pretty much a fantasy world all the time. And then the older I got, the more realism incorporated itself into these, so that it became more like superstitions, and there was some logic in the fallacy, you know. I would think things like, just pretty stupid things like, oh, if I squeeze the shampoo bottle twice, then I'm going to be mentally in the second dimension all day, or 3 times in the third dimension, just really stupid stuff. Then as time went on, I liked all the things I did. I liked skiing, I liked food, I liked just things that teenagers like, girls and stuff, like straight teenagers that are guys. Yeah, like, and then this thing called social media came along, and that really took a hold of these logical fallacies. Like, I went on it, and I started posting about things that I liked, you know, and I was just being myself, you know, at first. And then I started to see that that didn't generate as much likes and what I thought to be approval as some of the things that my friends were posting. And especially my peers that I coined as more popular than me, whatever that means, you know. And kind of this way of thinking and stuff, and just viewing these likes as just clear, straight up approval, that kind of took me into changing from what I liked to what got more likes. I started trying way harder to not just become more popular on social media, but become more popular outside of social media, because I thought the two equated to each other. Yeah, I basically became dependent on what I thought to be approval. They talk about it releasing dopamine when you get likes or notifications, which it does, and, there's a guy, one of the head of the staff of Instagram, who even talked about that they created an algorithm to keep you even more hooked on Instagram, where they release likes in a certain pattern to where it's not true. It's not when you don't receive the likes when you actually get the likes, and you receive them when you feel the most dependent on them, so that it spikes dopamine even more than before. But yeah, and I was pretty much giving into these things, and the way that I operated on social media kind of translated into the way that I operated in actual social settings. I kind of related saying things out loud to posting something. And if I didn't get a valid amount of approval from my friends, I would feel unsure, insecure, whatever that may be. Yeah, and over time, this kind of fallacy that I was following, that kind of social media brought out, these fallacies I was following all throughout my teenage years, and I know a lot of teenagers do too, with their frontal lobes not being all that hot. So, it's like adults do it too. This whole society is pretty much ran on logical fallacies. Like, if you don't get this, you won't be this. If you don't. I should probably explain logical fallacies, but yeah, like, one example is, they call it post hoc ergo propter hoc. I don't know what language that is, but that basically means if B comes after A chronologically, A must have caused B, when B, as an example, could have been caused by a number of other things. Another one is a false dichotomy, and that's, you're either this or that, or just a false way of looking at something black and white. And that's not to say that everything that happens chronologically isn't caused in that fashion, or anything, or a lot of things are kind of black and white, but a lot of people utilize these in a false way, and we do it too. Everybody does it. But yeah, like I was saying, as time went on, I got in a relationship through social media. I slid in the DMs. Basically what happened was that it was a long distance one, and how this person made themselves seem on social media was like exactly how I wanted to make myself seem. And I thought that this person was just like me. And, she was, and she kept up that facade for a good minute. And during that period of time, I was like pretty head over heels for this chick. Like, I was like talking to her constantly over the phone and stuff, but, she had a broken phone, and I thought that, like, every time our give and take of a conversation came to a halting stop, it was because, oh wait, I need to preface this by saying that she lived out in Wyoming, in like a pretty sketchy part of it, and she was attractive and all that, so I thought that, there's a good chance that she was getting kidnapped in the meantime, that, like, I wasn't able to text her. But yeah, and then, yeah, so that kind of like, that train of thought, that emotion made the true logical explanation for it in my head that, oh, her phone probably just died because it's broken. That like completely obliterated the real logic and made me fall down this fake logic. And I think we all do that, especially when we feel dependent on something. Yeah, and same thing with substances. I have a lot of friends that are addicted to nicotine. Um, I wasn't too big into it. First few buzzes I got were like pretty trivial, gave me a headache, you know, lightheaded and stuff. But the more that I did it, the more I could understand why. I started to feel as if nicotine made me comfortable in social situations, or more made me feel more in my skin. And really, that could be from a number of things, you know. And all the times that I did that, or any substance, I was with people that I, felt comfortable with already. And you can be that way anytime without any substance. You can be yourself, you know. And that's just a logical fallacy to think that or you need something else to be yourself. And that's something that capitalism really capitalizes off of. So, yeah, that's what I gotta say.
Thank you, Nick. Social media and other addictions, really, really helpful. We're going to move on to our Lighthouse program, and they have done an exercise of creating a mask, and so they're each going to bring their mask up and tell us about that as well. Madison, would you like to start? Help me welcome Madison.
So I'm like really short. Okay, so my name's Madison. I'm 16 years old and I'm with the Lighthouse program. I actually just started that about a month ago.